Here we are, guys, in game number 1 of the second series of the day. The only change that I'm going to make to the player names is I'm just going to remove the 40C over here from MbL, the AOC with numbers. And yeah, we're good to go. What do we get then for these civilizations? We're going to start with Mr. Yo. This time around, we'll take a look at the map generation as well. For the bull player with Magyars, we get a 15% discount on Scoutland units, as well as free melee attack upgrades as well, which means from the blacksmith, we are going to get Forging, Iron Casting, and Blast Furnace for free. Besides that, Magyars will also have... what is the other thing for Magyars? Their villagers can kill wolves with one strike, right? Or any predators. And we have jaguars over here. Tigers, actually. Okay. Besides that, Magyars will get for... yeah, for the team bonus, they are going to get... what is the team bonus actually for Magyars? I think it's 2 extra line of sight on foot archers, right? If I'm not mistaken. It's been a while actually since I last saw the civilization, interestingly enough. Taking a look then at the map generation for the bull player, we'll see that he's got the quote-unquote main goal over here towards the north, west. Fairly close to the TC, is not too bad. And then he's got one goal on the right-hand side. He's got another goal on the left-hand side. This one is so far away, though. And then the stone is going to be on the right-hand side, so far away as well. Fortunately for him, he does have 2 wood lines to work with, at the very least. So that's good. Well, if we take a look at the map generation for MbL, on the other hand, we'll see that the red players got... there we go. It's kind of similar, right? He's got a goal over here on the left-hand side, somewhat closer to TC, but forward still, technically. But he's got a beautiful, beautiful goal in the back. Absolutely fantastic. Another one towards the south. He's got another one towards the north. He's got another one towards the left-hand side as well. So he's got plenty of golds over here to collect from as well. And for stone, on the other hand, we have one over here, right, on the left-hand side. That'll be about it. So I would say the map generation is kind of comparable for both these players. We have 2 wood lines as well for MbL to work with as well. So yeah. The prediction started already, guys. Yes, there are 2 minutes and 30 seconds left for you guys to get your predictions going for who you think is going to win game number 1. So use your channel points, play the prediction game, and become a millionaire. A bone millionaire. I hear that as Magyar vills can kill walls in one hit. Yeah, that'd be strong. That'd be strong for sure. So there we go. A few just coming up for both these players. Mysterio's going up a little bit earlier. He's got a little bit of extra idle TC time as well, so it's going up with 1 extra villager, I think. Actually, no, that is MbL. MbL's going up a little bit faster, so... sorry, a little bit later, so he is the one going up with 1 extra villager. 2 extra villagers, as a matter of fact. And Mysterio's gonna be there about 21 seconds earlier, which means he probably has Loom, and MbL doesn't. Yeah, that's the case. Good in control from Mysterio. Well done! He gets to the village, so we're gonna see the stable come up. There we are. MbL. MbL's a little bit late to it, but it shouldn't be by too much. Oh, he's just going to play defensive over here. I'm going to try to get any damage. I am not really sure if I like this too much. Yeah, there we go. He didn't have the resources, it seems. I didn't take a look at it, but it seems like he didn't have the resources. So a little bit sloppy over here from MbL, despite the fact that he was going up a little bit later with extra economy as well. What is Loom? Loom gives your villagers extra HP. They are by default 25 HP. And then with Loom, they are going to go up to 40. I think the armor is affected too, right? I think it goes from 0 armor to this +1 +2. It takes the same amount of time to research from the TC as it takes to train a villager. So usually when you see both players going up at the same time and the adult TC time is about the same for both these guys. But there is a villager difference, that's the reason why. When the same thing happens when going out to the castle age, that's usually because of town watch as well, which is another technology from the fuel age for extra vision. Is it really a necessary upgrade? Eventually, yes. You want to get loom basically every game at some point, but the time at which you're going to research it changes depending on the map and the type of game. For instance, in a closed map like Black Forest. Well, no, Black Forest actually you would want to go for loom if you are going to contest the walls at the center. Because players both send the villagers over to the choke point to get the walls up, and it can result in a villager war, so you want to get loom. But an arena, for instance, or if you're just fast castling, or a map like Hideout where you're completely walled already, you can delay it and you can research it only in the castle age, and that's going to give you 1 extra villager compared to if you go for loom, right? So that's going to amount eventually to a bunch of extra resources. Arena water maps, that's true as well. Yes, water maps where you're not connected by land to your opponent as well. It's a very fine balance in Age of Empires. What you spend your resources on. You know, it's the reason why everybody from 1k players to 2k 7 players begin with the scout and 3 villagers, unless you're playing a civilization that has a different start count, right? But everybody's going to begin with the same resources, the same villagers, the same scout, the same buildings, everything. But the balance, the fine balance in decision making and eco usage as well is just what really separates the 1k from the 2k 7, right? It's incredible. The skill ceiling for this game is just ridiculous. And it keeps on getting higher as well. Like every year new techniques are introduced, mechanics, right? These days, like, you cannot be top 100 and not have a respectable quick wall for your villagers, for instance. Anyway, we have the scouts roaming around from Mr. Yo and MbL. MbL, he's got his own scouts as well, but it's taking a little bit longer for him to get the push going because how much later he was to the stable. And Mr. Yo is... yeah, still a little bit ahead in that regard. He's got 2 extra scouts over here, so it's going to be 5 forward that he's going to have. There's only 3 from MbL. Which means Mr. Yo should be able to defend himself a little bit more easily over here with the spearman. He doesn't need quite as many. He doesn't need to cover quite as much ground either. He's done a really good job getting the quick walls on the left-hand side, down the south as well. Fantastic. That respectable quick walls. You make fun of it, but that's actually a very quick player. It just doesn't seem like that when you compare it to some of the fastest players from the game, right? Players who are so fast that it's inhuman, basically. It's just so insane. But if you compare Dao to, let's say, any 2k player, 2k1 for the most part, he's actually going to be plenty fast and plenty mechanical as well. Just not quite up to snuff compared to some of the other pro players. He does not quick wall almost ever. I would say that's probably by choice though, but I think he should be able to do it, right? I wonder whether it's ever useful to throw in a camel scout in this situation. I don't know. I feel like you kind of lose on raiding power. Because you want the scouts not to fight other scouts. You want the scouts to take villagers down, and that is a beautiful snipe! Fantastic. A doink! Right there. I think I read that camel scouts don't have a bonus versus cavalry. I know that they don't have a bonus versus cavalry in the Dark Age. I know that for sure. In the Fuel Age, I don't remember. I think that might be the case. I think they do not get any bonus against cavalry. I think only once they get to camel riders. They do in Fuel? Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah. That makes sense. I remembered about the Dark Age. Wasn't really sure about Fuel. Thank you, Arbase. I can barely beat hard AI. Only if I attack early after Castle Age gets too insane. Villager numbers, I don't know how. Yeah, early on it's difficult. Don't worry about it, and it's You're gonna get there. If you want to get good at the game, you can definitely do it. There are so many resources. So don't sweat it too much. Good amount of archers coming over from MbL already. Getting to the wall line over here. He's got to be careful because of the skirmishers that Mysterio's got to defend himself with. These skirmishers are going to counter archer and spear line units. So MbL is bringing the scouts back. He's got to be careful though. There is a spearman over here. 2 spearmen here. For Mysterio to defend himself. And MbL cannot do anything. He's just trying to fish for weak villagers over here, but he can't find squad because there is nothing weak over here about Mysterio's economy. So much so that he's gonna be the first player going up to the Castle H, and MbL, well, MbL's taking a little bit longer. It's been going pretty heavily into archers though, but he might end up getting completely cleaned up, guys! The scouts from MbL are not doing anything anymore. Only one left over there, and the archers get completely wiped out. 2 units crumble from Mysterio in this engagement, while MbL lost so much. Take a look at the KD, 14-5, very close to 3-1 in favor of Mysterio. Being the only player who's managed to get a villager so far in this game as well, certainly helps. Given the fact that he's got lower idle TC time compared to MbL also, is absolutely fantastic for Mysterio. He's going up. Both players are actually going up at about the same time. In the end, MbL was able to get the Castle H start researching a little bit earlier compared to Mysterio. I think that might have been because of Mysterio queuing the Castle H after a villager, perhaps. But yeah, 1 extra villager is fantastic. We have Loom already for both these guys. There we go. Hill advantage over here from Mysterio though. He's trying to hold on to it. Should be able to. And what we will get in the Castle H, blocking arrow for both these guys. Crossbowman for MbL and Mysterio. Mysterio's got, for the most part, skirmishers over here as opposed to archers. So I don't think we are going to get any of that. Like elite skirmishers or crossbows. Probably just blocking arrow. But I'm really sure what he's going to go for next, because MbL with his civilization now and access to camels should be in a pretty good spot to defend himself. Did you notice, by the way, how MbL actually queued a camel scout before he got to the Castle H? So he got to the Castle H and a camel rider actually came out almost immediately. That was so sick. Yeah, there we go. So just blocking arrow for Mysterio as expected, and MbL on the other hand, he's not going for the crossman upgrade yet. He's going for the 2nd and 3rd DCs. Gonna try to play for full economy over here. So what does Mysterio do then? Archers. Magyars are a civilization that get several options, but none of which is going to work against Gujaras, it feels like to me, right? For Magyars, we get fully upgraded Arbalesters, so they can make a play for archers early on, but against Shrivamsha Riders, those are going to be pretty easy to counter. They get fully upgraded cavalry archers as well. So we see Mysterio going for cavalry archers by the looks of it. And the other options would be to go for knights, because they get fully upgraded paladin, or potentially light cavalry as they get fully upgraded hussar as well. The problem with that though is that while Gujaras get the Shrivamsha Riders and the camels, both of which are going to counter, technically, cavalry archer in the sense that they have... They work pretty well against cavalry units and range units respectively. The cavalry archer is the only unit that Mysterio's got access to that he can play with, because knights get immediately countered by camels. You're going to fight the camels melee, right? So you're going to be taking bonus damage all the time if you go for knights. If you go for archers, the archers do not have the mobility to keep the distance from the Shrivamsha Riders. And cavalry archers seem to be about the only viable choice, right? It's got the mobility that he needs to keep the gap against Shrivamsha Riders, or at the very least to prevent them from closing the gap too easily. And they do not need to fight melee, which means that you can potentially even take camels down. So it's about the only unit that Mysterio can go for left. I'm not truly convinced that this is going to be enough, however. And MbL is not really going for much of anything. It's got a market on the way and no Shrivamsha Riders. He's got no extra camels coming up. This might actually work out for Mr. Yo, mainly because MbL is not really reacting to it too much. Skirmishers? He's going for skirmishers. Yes. If he goes for elite skirmishers, yeah, there we go. He's got it. He should be able to defend, but of course that is not something he'll be able to attack with. While if he had gone for Shrivamsha Riders, for instance, and he was able to defend successfully, he would also be able to go forward and put pressure with those units. Skirmishers, technically you can use to attack. Technically you can use anything to attack. You can go for Spearmen if you want forward, right? But it's not the most effective unit. It's not what you think of when you think about offensive units. Shrivamsha Riders still do well versus Cavalry Archers since the slower fire rate hurts. Oh yeah. It's kind of like having Eagles against Cavalry Archers. For the Shrivamshas, in a sense, you will definitely still get a better trade if you close the gap. And in order to keep the gap, the other player is gonna have to micro so much the Cavalry Archer that it becomes fairly impractical, right? It's gonna be a very micro-intensive army to work with. Thumb Ring, good question. Do we have Thumb Ring? We don't have Thumb Ring yet, so these are only 50% accurate. I don't think he's got a university, does he? No, he's going for one now, so he's gonna get ballistics. Cavalry Archer versus Gujaras, I am scared. Anything versus Gujaras? And I'd be scared as well, right? What a strong civilization, they are just freaking goated. You know, there is a patch coming up eventually to the game. Content creators have had access to an early build that fixes the record the game bug. But because the general public release is taking a little bit longer to come out, I would imagine we have extra changes coming up for it. And I am expecting to see a civilization balance change for sure. I am expecting to see Hindustanis and Gujaras get nerfed a little bit. Bengalis get potentially buffed a little bit. And potentially... What is the other one? Dravidians, I think they are fine. I don't think they are too weak. I don't think they are too strong. But Hindustanis and Gujaras, man, they're insane. They're just so good today. Sicilians nerfed again? You're expecting Sicilians to be nerfed, or are you expecting them to nerf Sicilians out of abusing the civilization? There we go. Good job, the camels were not going to hold on against the cavalry archers. And yeah, we don't have any Shrivamsha Riders coming out for MbL whatsoever, so yeah. Sicilians nerf out of spite? Maybe. Yeah, Sicilians are fine. I don't think they need to get nerfed at all, but maybe just how to have it. Kind of like an inflation in Argentina, right? No reason, just people are gonna start jacking up the prices. You're just used to it at this point. Two villages going down from MbL. And Mr. Yo's been able to keep up with the economy himself really well. He's got 4 TCs as well. Both these players have 4 TCs. And MbL is coming forward with the skirmishers. He will try to use these offensively. Let's see. Fantastic. Right hand side. This fantastic push. I'm liking Mr. Yo's push over here so much better. MbL with camels? And skirmishers won't do anything, so he's gonna try and get a castle up by the looks of it. He doesn't have the resources for it though, but he brought the villagers. There we go, he buys it. He buys the stone that he needs. So there we go. Castle's coming up, and Mr. Yo doesn't have anywhere near enough resources to get a castle up himself. He should know about this coming up. Oh! But take a look at that! The Mangonel! The Mangonel's here! We have the cavalry archers as well! And the Mangonel from MbL is going down! So now that castle's getting denied! And this is absolutely huge. If Mr. Yo is able to keep the Mangonel alive over here, that's going to make a big difference. And he's got a lot of villagers coming over, but the Mangonel goes down at the last second as the cavalry archers get pushed back. The villagers get pushed back. Mr. Yo feels compelled to bring the cavalry archers back, but then he decides against it and keep these forward anyway. Because honestly, with the push that he's got going over here with both Mangonels, potentially if he could go for even a third one, plus the cavalry archers, which protect the Mangonel against anything that MbL can go for against these, right? Except once again, Shrivamsha Riders potentially, but MbL's not going for it. He is in a position to do a lot more damage. Sure, MbL got the castle up over here, and the red player does end up denying some of the resources, mainly the gold over here, right? And some of the farms. But that's about it. This is about as much range as the castle is going to have, so... No, Mysterio is fine. Yeah, I think it's probably better off just keeping momentum over here on the right hand side, and he seems to be in a position to do actually a lot more damage than the castle from MbL is doing. Defensive castle coming up for Mr. Yo's build to try and prevent MbL from going for extra castles over here. And he should be fine. There we go. Yep. Camels are going down. They take one Mangonel over there. In the end, they will get completely wiped out. That was not cost effective for MbL whatsoever. And there is one Mangonel over here still left for Mr. Yo, so he should be able to hold on against the skirmishers just fine. Imperial is gonna be on the way for the bull player as well. Since MbL got the castle up forward, it was kind of higher priority for Mr. Yo to try and get up ASAP, especially now that he's got his own castle up, right? That's usually the case, but players get a castle up, we see a race to the Imperial Age, and Mr. Yo's got definitely the upper hand over there now. MbL will be able to click up to the Imperial Age himself very soon. He's been able to defend himself really well over here for the most part. Check it out. Yeah, DC's still alive over here, and the skirmishers will push the remaining units from Mr. Yo back, right? But the moment the bull player gets to the Imperial Age, we're gonna see trebuchets come out. Should be able to take MbL's castle down. And MbL is trying to expand his economy around the map. Not playing Franks, but he'll take the berries anyway. Yeah, and this is not a good... I'm not really sure why... Yeah, Mr. Yo was taking the engagement over there, probably was not paying attention too much. You can get a castle on the left. That'd be ideal. So that he prevents MbL from still putting pressure up over here. And if you're talking about a castle on the left kind of forward to try and put pressure against MbL, yeah, he can go for that as well. And as a matter of fact, very soon Mr. Yo is going to have... Actually, just now, he got enough resources to go for 2 castles, whatever he wants. One is going to be forward. We can see the villagers already moving on, marching on. And the other one... They could use these villagers and go for a defensive one on the left-hand side, so he'd be able to produce from both castles the trebuchets. He still has such a head start though to the Imperial Age that by the time Mr. Yo gets the second trebuchet out over here, MbL's only gonna be getting the first one out. Or it's gonna be queuing the first one. Is that his MTC that was being attacked by the yellow ram? No, I don't think so. Trebuchet on the way. Trebuchet on the way. Second trebuchet is coming up as well. As a matter of fact, yeah, the second trebuchet is coming up in a moment. And MbL still waiting to get to the Imperial Age himself. Does not push Mr. Yo away from this CC though. He's got the timing. He's got the momentum. But the TC's going down right now to the trebuchet. Mr. Yo can continue on with this push on the right-hand side. And I was not really expecting MbL to struggle this match, in this particular matchup, but he's not gone for... And he's gotta know better. If he's not going for Shiransha Rider, he might have tried against the cavalry archers in the past. He might not have gotten good results, so he's not trying to go for it right now. But I can't help to think that it should have been, at the very least, one unit in his army composition. But he's not gone for it whatsoever. It's just been going for skirmishers and camels, which doesn't seem to work right against cavalry archers and mountains. Mr. Yo is in a fantastic spot over here. So 2 TCs going down already. MbL is no longer collecting any resources from this area anymore, and I don't think MbL got Kshatriyas. I'll take a look at the tech tree. 1 second. No, he doesn't have Kshatriyas. Mr. Yo right now, he's going for the Castle Age upgrade for Magyars. That's going to be Corvinian army. Used to be called mercenaries in the past. That's going to make the Magyar Hussar unit not cost any gold, so it's basically a stronger Hussar that he produces from the castle. Beautiful on the left-hand side, though. Mr. Yo denying the castle! Taking villagers down from MbL, pushing him away. And then, on the left, of course, he was already able to push MbL's castle away over here. And MbL, in the end, he ended up getting a single trebuchet out. I'm actually not really sure where the trebuchet is even. Yeah, it's a defensive one over here, but honestly, Mr. Yo might be able to. He's got a trebuchet garrisoned over here, and he's got another one over here. Should be able to take this castle down pretty easily as well. It's so far looking really good for Mr. Yo, and he's keeping momentum over here. Not running out of steam anytime soon. We have elite Magyar Hussar coming out right now for Mr. Yo as well. That's going to be such a strong unit. These units are so good. Check this out. Elite Magyar Hussar. 14 attack now that he's got Blast Furnace, right? 14 attack, that's so good. 105 HP. 2 base Pierce armor as well. So once he gets Blade Bar and armor, these are going to be absolutely fantastic for Raiden as well. And that's just such a good unit. Do Magyar Hussar get a bonus against Siege Elephants? Well, against Siege they have 8 bonus. So that's going to also work against Siege Elephants, yes. We have Recurve Bow coming out from Mr. Yo as well. That's going to give the cavalry archers 1 extra range and 1 extra attack. Yeah, still a good amount of DCs, but he's been losing. He's been losing more and more steam MbL, that is. And right now, Mr. Yo is on the lead for both military and economy. Well, MbL was the one putting pressure earlier the most. Now it's kind of turning around, and Mr. Yo is definitely the one looking the strongest over here. Where's the second trebuchet, by the way? We knew that he had 2 trebuchets around here. Did he lose one already? Where's the second one? He had 1 garrison inside the castle, right? I think he probably lost one of the trebs. Anyway, here come the Magyar Hussar, and check this out. Pow! 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 1,200 resources down the drain for MbL. He cannot afford to replenish these units. He's barely able to, you know, keep 1 extra trebuchet over here, and that's going to be, of course, at the expense of any other units that will require any gold. Oh man, so this is so good for Mr. Yo. It's looking over, guys. Very soon, the blue player is going to be locked in 200 population. He's got a very strong production coming up. And MbL is dropping further and further down to less than 130 population. With the raids coming up on the left-hand side as well. And the cavalry archers looking so strong and being fully upgraded already. There is no way back over here for Mr. MbL. So the GG is coming up. And Mr. Yo will be the one to get the lead in the series over here with an incredible opening over here. 1-0 for the Chinese player. Let's go through the achievements really quickly so that we can go back and take a look at the saves and the maps. But for this one, Mr. Yo, so close. Scratching the 2-1 KD ratio. Gets much better trades throughout the game compared to MbL. For economy, we have a stronger economy for Mr. Yo as well, collecting about 10,000 extra resources. And then for society, we see a higher worker count for Mr. Yo. Not only that, but he was the one taking the fewest losses as well. Only 7 villagers going down. MbL ended up losing about 54 villagers over here if my maths are correct throughout the game. So that is a lot of extra losses. Most of that came towards the end, by the way. If you take a look at it. Over here, right? This was really, really bad for MbL. From this point onwards, of course, it was just going to be downhill. I mean, it was kind of downhill anyway, right? Kind of like this. Let's go back. There we are. Welcome everyone then to game number 2. So far, Mr. Yo on the lead 1-0 against MbL. The Norwegian man, the Viking. While, yeah, Mr. Yo is looking just so good over here. For the civilizations, for the matchup over here, we have for Mr. Yo Poles and MbL is playing with Mayans. It's a very interesting matchup. Poles will get, first off, villagers who regenerate HP 5, 10, 15, and 20 HP per minute in the Dark Field Castle and Imperial Ages. Besides that, for the civilization, we'll see that Mr. Yo also gets stone miners go like 0.5 units of gold per unit of stone that they mine. On top of that, Poles get access to Folwark. It's got the same foundation as the blacksmith, but it's actually a Folwark, and this is a fantastic eco building that's going to... It's going to basically count as a mill in the house at the same time, so you get population space from it, but also it's got a special power. If you take a look at the range of the building, you will see that it's got a radius over here. Well, not really a radius, right? But it's got a... Oh, hold on. Never mind. Yeah, not really a radius, but it's going to have an area around it. Oh, this is huge though! MbL ends up causing Mr. Yo to lose a villager to the boar. Yeah. Because of this, right? He had to pull the villager away from the wood, and now MbL ends up causing Mr. Yo to lose the villagers. That is absolutely fantastic. And dude, I cannot finish talking about the Folwark, but yeah, basically every farm that you place inside this area around the Folwark is going to immediately deposit 10% of its food as soon as it finishes building. So it's very good, especially for late game situations. Every time that you reseed the farm around the Folwark, you're just going to get free food, so it's fantastic. Makes their economy absolutely nasty in the late game. Nice snipe. For MbL Civilization, on the other hand, playing with Mayans over here means he begins with 1 extra villager. He's gonna get 50 less food because of it, though. However, he gets 15% longer lasting resources, 10, 20, and 30% cheaper archers in the Field Castle and Imperial Ages, and for the team bonus, the walls are going to be cheaper for Mayans as well. So, guys, predictions are on. Once again, for the next 2 minutes and 40 seconds, still, you'll be able to choose who you think is going to win game number... Yeah, who you think is going to win game number 2. So far, predictions seem to be favoring MbL quite a bit. Is MbL option 2? Who's option 2? Yeah, wow! There's a lot of faith in MbL, especially after game number 1. MbL did not find all his sheep. Ah, true. He's got 2 pigs over here. Speaking of which, let's take a look at the map generation really quickly. This is Arabia, so very important. So it's always going to be very important to take a look at the resource placement for every map, but especially so in Arabia. We're going to have the main goal forward for Mr. Yo. He's got the secondary one of the secondary ones towards the southeast over here, and then on the left-hand side, we have this one as well. Right, so that's good. And then the stone, we're gonna have the main stone on the left-hand side. The secondary stone actually... Okay, there we go. It's super far, so this is not the best. The extra resources, namely the gold over here, the stone over here, those are super forward. The main gold is super forward. So everything is super exposed. If he went for some walls over here to try and connect to the edge of the map, he would not really be able to secure any of these resources. So not the best. Taking a look at MbL before we get to too much action. Yeah, we'll see one goal on the back. That's so much better compared to Mr. Yo's goals already. It's fantastic. And then the secondary goals, they're going to be one forward, the other one forward to the side over here as well. And then we have the main stone forward, secondary stone towards the south over here. And we can see that MbL is actually already going for the walls. Usually I like to see players go for the walls connecting to the edge of the map as opposed to connecting to the wood line so that they are able to defend themselves against a possibility of towers or archers. But it's going to be fine. He's probably expecting Mr. Yo to be going for scouts. And Mr. Yo will oblige. He will go for scouts. So MbL is going to be fine just by going for these walls. He'll be able to protect the majority of his economy anyway. MbL won't be pushing and also is missing sheep. Maybe it's not that bad. Oh yeah, it's definitely not that bad for Mr. Yo overall. And the thing about losing your OG scout as well, especially when you're playing an American civilization, is you're missing so much vision as well. Fortunately for him, he doesn't need to go for a stable, and he couldn't if he wanted to anyway because of the save, but he doesn't need to go for an extra building, that is, to go for scouts again, right? So he's got another scout coming out, and nice villager pick. This equalizes things up, 1-1. EcoKV for Mr. Yo. And yeah, Mr. Yo lost a villager to the board earlier. That's when MbL was putting pressure on the wood line and Mr. Yo was trying to lure the board at the same time. Then he had to pull the villagers away from the wood line and he forgot about the villager from the board, so he ended up losing it. Now he kind of equalizes a little bit, but of course you gotta keep in mind that Mayans already begin with one extra villager, so it's not exactly even yet. Does Mr. Yo not have loom, by the way? He does. Did MbL go for challenge? How is the villager count the same? Yeah, well. Actually, not really sure about that. I think Paul's crap and Mayans. Let's talk about one bonus I forgot to mention about Paul's. That's the team bonus. They get 1 bonus damage against archer type units from scout line units. So if you go for scouts, like cavalry, hussar, right? They are going to get bonus damage against archer type units, and Mayans are very keen on going for archers as well. Nice villager pick over here from Mr. Yo. That's another one. And then what do we have? Besides that, besides the possibility of going for scouts, we're gonna see also another villager going down to the wood line. And both these players are trading blows over here. Mr. Yo has gotten the better EcoKD so far. Interestingly enough. Yeah, despite the army over here from MbL looking strong. Well played. But yeah, we talked about both civilization bonuses. The one thing I did not mention though is the unique technologies. Mr. Yo, he's got, we talked about the team bonus, which gives bonus damage from scout units against archers, right? However, Mr. Yo also gets Schlachta privileges for anybody who might not be familiar with it. That's the Castle Age unique technology that makes knights significantly cheaper for gold cost. So, if MbL is going to go for archers, we have something against that. If MbL is going to go for eagles, we have something against that as well. So it's going to be a little bit of a struggle for MbL to find a good army composition to work around, you know, Mr. Yo's options. But we'll see, of course. I always say it, never gonna get tired of repeating it. It's about the players, not about the civilizations. We'll see how well the players can take advantage of these bonuses and whatnot. Mr. Yo should be able to go up to the castle age very soon, yes. And MbL, I'm not really sure, does he have a market? He's got a market, so he could potentially sell some of the stone, sell some of the wood, and try to go up to the castle age himself as well. I wouldn't really advocate for that. But yeah, Mr. Yo is gonna naturally be able to go up. His eco balance is just so much better. As is, if you take a look, he's not utilized the market so far. And as a matter of fact, he doesn't even have a market to make use of. So Mr. Yo's eco balance over here is fantastic. They're getting pushed away from the gold for the time being, but the stone miners, as we mentioned earlier, do provide gold. So yeah. No way, you don't understand. It needs to be about the civilizations. How am I going to blame my failures on them otherwise? You are correct, I'm sorry. It's nothing about the players. It's always about the civilizations and the maps. And the devs. Breaking the civilizations and they're making them all useless. I know, it's my bad. Should have known better. Hey, there we go. MbL is actually able to go up to the Castle H a little bit earlier. He had to use the market quite a lot. And Mr. Yo is kind of struggling a little bit. Now that he's getting back to goal, he might be able to... Yeah, okay, there we go. Did he go for a market? He had to go for the market, right? I think he ended up selling some... He ended up buying, actually. No, he ended up selling some wood. There we go. Beautiful. Doesn't matter for us, yes. At pro level, though, civilizations absolutely matter. They matter. I'm not saying they are not relevant. I think it's much more so about the players. Because I have seen oftentimes very one-sided civilization matchups go in favor of, you know, the civilization that should have lost. So the players can offset for that. That's what I'm trying to say. Another one should totally be an emote? Probably. Since do kind of matter though? They do? Yeah. They would say they don't matter. I think the players can offset for the matchup. Or maybe sometimes not so much offset for it positively, as in being able to get a better game in a worse matchup, as they can sometimes kind of offset negatively for a better matchup, as we have seen oftentimes. I completely agree, by the way, Varian. Mid elo and low elo, the mistakes are significantly more relevant. That is why you can take a 2k4 player, you can place them on an atrocious matchup, and they will still come out on top 10 out of 10 times against a player like, I don't know, 600 low elo or whatever. So yeah, the higher level is harder to offset for it, but we have seen it enough times to know that just because we have... What I'm going at with this is that just because you have a matchup that looks on paper much more favorable for one civilization does not guarantee the victory, right? So that's all I'm trying to say in any case. There are mind games, decisions to make. In any case, now Castle H is here for both these players. Monk and Manels are coming up. He's got the second man already. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Varian. I think the impact of a civilization is going to be larger when the players are they are higher skilled. Oh, big shot over there. Taking that thing 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 6 skirmishers. Now the tower is going down, and MbL is playing this really well. He knows that he's gotta play for goal control because Mr. Yo, he's got the main goal forward, and then the that is a beautiful emote combination, by the way. He knows that there is the goal forward over here, and then the rest of the goals are going to be completely exposed. So this one on the left hand side is so far away. This one on the right hand side, fortunately, Mr. Yo has been able to secure with the TC. There we are. Yeah, that's an amazing emote combination, by the way. There we go. Stable's coming up. Or going down, rather. And Monsieur gets the castle up. You know, Obuk are actually a pretty solid unit as well for Mr. Yo to go for. These guys are fantastic. They will take on Eagle Warriors, obviously. Pikemen. So you can have this as Michiel, then you can go for Cavalry as well on top of that. And let's take a look. The quick walls. Nice! Quick walls over here. For Mr. Yo, I think. Actually, no. MbL already had the foundation over here from earlier. I don't know why Mr. Yo was kind of putting himself in that position in the first place, but for the time being, he's surviving. The interesting thing is Mr. Yo is ahead. He's ahead by about 8 workers over here. And MbL is the one putting pressure with military over here. He's trying to offset for the villager deficit. And so far, I would say that he's getting away with it. He's not been able to get a single TC down just yet, but he certainly disrupted Mr. Yo's economy to kind of compensate for the lack of villagers. Or for the villager deficit. If you take a look at the gather economy time, it's higher for MbL actually. And some of that's going to be because of the Mayan bonus, the Mayan civilization, right? And some of that's going to be just because of how much he's been able to disrupt Mr. Yo's economy. Mr. Yo's been going back and forth to this gold so many times. He's kind of pushed away from the wool, and now he's probably going to end up losing a few villages over there. Let's take a look. Good reaction though from Mr. Yo. Well done. Villagers moving forward. Yeah, this is not good. This is not good. He doesn't have the resources to go for a castle, and he's getting spotted. So this is looking pretty over, not gonna lie. I don't see how Mr. Yo is able to save these villagers. He tried to rush a TC, but he doesn't even have the wood for that. I think he was just trying to find some of the neutral resources. He was trying to find some of the neutral goals, because with this one and this one being out of the question and this one eventually running out, he was trying to fish for some extra resources, but now that's going to result in a lot of losses. Not the best position for Mr. Yo. While he might still be about 7 workers ahead compared to MbL, he's been idle with about 12 villagers over here for a very, very big portion of time. And it's not only the last minute. Sure, these guys are going to less than 5%, very soon 0% of worker efficiency in the last minute, but even if you take a look at the all-time worker efficiency, these villagers have been just walking for so long. Right? The actual efficiency for these guys in the lifetime has been less than 60%. Outpost in MbL? Yeah, mind games. 300 IQ plays over there. Good unit control. There we go. Yeah, good defense for Mr. Yo. For the time being, he's stabilizing. And interestingly enough, actually, and I don't know how really, he's managed to collect almost enough resources to go up to the Imperial Age. This is gonna be the KD. Mr. Yo has got it. Do you hear that, by the way, in the background? Hopefully the noise filter is filtering it out, but somebody's got, I don't know if it's a Vuvuzela or something. Somebody's like horning. So annoying. I hope you don't hear it, so that, yeah, it doesn't get in the way. But yeah, Mr. Yo is gonna be on his way to the Imperial Age first, this game by the looks of it. Well, he had close to the resources he needed. Now he's going for a few extra upgrades to make the push with the Obu. Extra TC coming up, and that is a beautiful one. This is going to provide some protection for the TC. Not full protection. Still archers on the right hand side would still be able to push the villages away from the goal, or potentially a tower, or potentially another castle from MbL, but... or one castle from MbL, right? But for the time being, Mr. Yo's been able to stabilize over here. MbL's getting housed. Mr. Yo, he's got almost enough to click up already to the Imperial Age, and this is going to make a huge difference. Remember, Schlag the privileges reduces the gold cost of Nightland units by a lot. It's got extra stables coming up right now, and I'm actually not really sure if MbL is aware of it. He's not aware of the TC, he's not aware of the stables. So, if Mr. Yo clicks up to the MbL, starts going for Knights. Once he gets to the MbL, goes for the Cavalier and plate. Actually, not plate Brother Armor. He cannot get it, but he goes for Cavalier. Potentially Iron Cast and Blast Furnace. That's going to put him in such a good spot. MbL won't be able to defend himself. Not with Pikemen, not against Cavalier. Not with Archers, of course. Not basically with anything from the Castle Age. Just monks perhaps, but with a good amount of units and Mr. Yo going for Slakta should be able to spam a good amount of units, then MbL is going to struggle to even make the monks work. So yeah. Yo was so comfortable he decided to throw some villages away. And he's still ahead. Full economy doesn't need villages. Yeah, right. Just gotta seed the farms. And there we go, guys! Mr. Yo! He's got chain more than armor, just finished research, and handguards coming up to make his farmers even more efficient. And take a look at this. 3, 2, 1. Schlag the privileges, everyone! Yes, sir! The Obu will prompt MbL into archers. MbL is not expecting cavalry over here. Is not really being going pretty heavily into monks or pikes. So now, when MbL unleashes, or actually when Mr. Yosari unleashes onto MbL the Cavalier, well, MbL is going to be completely unprepared. Does he know about the stables now? He knows about one stable coming up. He doesn't know about the rest. He knows about 2 stables coming up. He doesn't know about the rest. There we go. Kills don't need farms since they don't have full unit. Ha! Imagine playing kills and not going for Paladin. Fantastic. Imperial Age is here. For Mr. Yo. Blast Furnace is on the way. And Cavalier is coming up, and this is what I was talking about. This is what I was hoping to see from Mr. Yo. Unfortunately, though, he's not really been able to get too many units out yet. He needs to go for conscription now as well, ideally. But he's going to have fully upgraded farms, guys. He's got heavy plow already. He's got heavy plow. He's going for crop rotation. And he's got handcar, right? So now he's going for even more stables. And this is what I want to see. The full Cavalier push and MbL. MbL is going to try to start going for pikemen right now. He's on his way to the Imperial Age. And it's very important for Mr. Yo to start putting pressure before the pikemen over here get to Halberdier. That's going to make it significantly harder for him to take advantage of these units, even with the Cavalier upgrade. The castle's coming up for Mr. Yo. It seems like this is probably what he should have gone from the very beginning, right? For. But yeah, it is what it is. Church is on the way. The Cavalier's coming up. Conscription is finally on the way for Mr. Yo as well, which makes a huge difference. It's going to allow him to train the units faster. So if he gets a good economy, he should be able to go for Cavalier from multiple stables extremely quickly and mass a good amount of units. And you take a look at that. He's got already 5 stables with the Cavalier queued up. Won't take too long for him to get to a good amount of units. It's going to be pretty expensive, yes. Doesn't matter, probably not. Does Mr. Yo know about the castle over here? He doesn't yet. He's trying to raid on the left hand side, get some villages down. MbL's paying attention though, gets the walls up over here before the Cavalier come in. But on the right hand side though, the Cavalier coming straight into the back of MbL's base, straight into his underbelly. Where MbL is the most vulnerable. That's not the best raid that I have seen, mind you. But this is huge though! A massacre slaughterhouse with a castle at the center getting completely denied. A bunch of villagers going down for MbL. And check out, look at the work account for MbL. 85 villagers. It's true the Mayans are a very cost-effective civilization that doesn't need a very strong amount of economy, but this is still a very significant lead for Mr. Yo. We have Halberdier right now. Definitely would like to see some of the Obuk he was playing with earlier. And that's going to remain smiling over here. And with the hill advantage, yes! Mr. Yo is able to take the Halberdier down, is able to keep the castle denied, and the Lord smiles upon us. Oh, that's actually, there we go. Beautiful. Let's make him a clown wig as well. Yeah, there we go. Fantastic. Let's take a look at the achievements before hopping out. We'll see for military, a better KD for Mr. Yo, approaching 3-2. For economy, we'll see a stronger economy for Mr. Yo as well by quite a lot. Quite a lot, about 7,000, 6,000 extra resources, 6,800 extra resources, very close to 7. Society, we see, yeah, a better score over here for Mr. Yo with more villagers, a higher villager max count, but also the most villagers towards the end of the game. I think it was kind of comparable losses for both these guys, but that was just a remarkable game from Mr. Yo. To be honest, I really thought that MbL was going to take this one at the castle age. When he started putting pressure against the 4 gold over here, he was roaming around, also preventing Mr. Yo from getting access to this one. Mr. Yo was only banking on this guy on the right hand side. I really thought that Mr. Yo had some great momentum over here, but MbL just... Sorry that MbL had some great momentum over there, but Mr. Yo was able to push him back, and what a great performance. What a great performance. 2-0 for Mr. Yo against MbL over here. And guys, there are 45 minutes left before the third series begins no matter what. So we could see 2 games in that time span, I think. So this goes to 4 games. I think we could still be able to catch the first game from the third series, but if this is over in game number 3, that's going to allow us to get some, you know, some slack for the next series. Otherwise, it's going to be too tight. Here we go, guys. Welcome everyone then to game number 3. Let's try and catch up. We're probably behind by a few seconds. So here on the right hand side towards the south is going to be playing Lithuanians with 150 extra food upon starting the game, 10% fast movement skirm spear line units, as well as 1 extra attack, and knights and light chairs per each relic garrison up to 4 relics. And for the team bonus, 20% faster working monasteries. Mysterious Civilization is going to be one of the stronger ones for a map like this because of the extra starting resources. Allows you to focus on wood a little bit more heavily at the very beginning, right? You don't have to worry about food too much, and that allows you to go for the dock over here. That allows you to try and contest the center lake, the frigid lake over here a little bit earlier. For MbL, on the other hand, he's playing with Chinese, which do begin with 3 additional villagers. Less food and less wood though because of it. And then on top of that, the Chinese civilization is going to have 5 extra line of sight on TCs, 5 higher population support on TCs. We're gonna see for the civilization a bonus on this map that's going to be somewhat relevant that we don't mention really for the vast majority of Chinese games, which is 50% extra HP on demolition type units. So demo rafts, demolition ships and heavy demolition ships will have extra HP, which can make them a lot more useful in a situation where you're trying to target crossbows, for instance, which would otherwise be too easily able to one-shot demos. Of course, 50% extra HP means that your opponent, if they have 50% extra crossbows, then what it would take to take a single demolition ship down, a standard demolition ship down, they'll still be able to one-shot you, but it's going to be harder, right? For the team bonus, Chinese also get 10% extra food per farm. And I think that's going to be about it for the civilizations. I'm not really sure if I mentioned the Chinese get cheaper upgrades as well, but they do, so it's a very strong civ. I talked about the format that the Grand Malay is utilizing over here being closer to Deep Waters League compared to Warlords. In Warlords, the players will begin with 4 herdables. Actually 8 herdables total. And in the Grand Malay and Deep Waters League, you begin with only 3 herdables underneath the TC and 1 kind of missing, right? So it's going to be 5 total. You have 3 at the very beginning underneath the TC. You have 2 around that you have to scout for. And it's going to be 6 total. Or 5 total, I should say. And it's as if you had started the game with 6 sheep and you already had taken 1 by the time you got to 9 villagers. So that kind of you could say nerfs the Chinese a little bit compared to the Warlords format where they were all the time super OP. We'll see. Anyone have an idea what 40C in MbL nick means? Is that like 40 CCM motor set? No, 40C is basically AOC with numbers, and AOC is what a lot of people used to refer to Age of Empires as, because of the Age of Conquerors. Oh my god, what Age of Conquerors? Because of the Age of Empires, the Conquerors expansion was the only expansion from the game from 2000 to 2014, 13 I think, right? People just would abbreviate the base game plus the expansion as AOC. Little pressure coming up over here. Mr. is bringing a bunch of villagers over. And MbL's forced into a defensive tower. This is very interesting to see from Mr. Yo. He doesn't need to go for this. Lithuanians, once again, he's going to be the only player on water here. So his economy is already going to be stronger. He could just play for economy and get ahead, but he's actually going for. That's going to be a lot of idle village time. There we go. 40 seconds pause for chess at the start of every match. Dude, don't remind me. There was one time I just got so vexed at MbL. I think it was during Terra Nova. I couldn't say anything. I was casting the games live, of course. I just kind of laughed it up, but inside I was like just so pissed off. And it was a tournament. And MbL actually paused the game. And they were playing a tournament game, right? And he paused the game because he was simultaneously playing World of Warcraft. And they were raiding. Oh god, come on. It's just MbL stuff. You can just laugh it off at this point already. It's been a while. We can just laugh about it. I remember that. You remember that? Yeah. Anyway, Mr. Yo's roaming around now. MbL struggling in this game. And he's going for yet another tower. Now this one, he had to collect the stone for, of course, and Mr. Yo. Mr. Yo's looking good, guys. He's got a higher worker count. And even though he's got some villagers idled, he is causing a reaction from MbL. So it's not just the villagers roaming around mindlessly from Mr. Yo. He's actually forcing a reaction. So MbL having to go for the towers over here. Having to switch villagers over to stone. It's actually a very good reaction for Mr. Yo to cause from MbL. And now this tower's coming up anyway. So he'll be able to push the villagers away from stone. And this is beautiful because from this point onwards, if he goes for extra towers, well, MbL shouldn't be able to defend himself too much, right? Where's the extra stone? Yeah, the extra stone is forward. So he wouldn't be able to collect from it. They need to play chess and AoE against each other at the same time. No pause. Oh, they did that. They did that once, didn't they do that? I think they did. During ECL. Yes, you're correct, Vorian. I think the tower is one tile off. It's not going to cover 100% of the stone, but if he goes for fletching, it will. And right now, it makes most of the stone inaccessible. So yeah, he definitely needs fletching for sure. We have a dog from MbL. It's gonna try to get the fish. This was actually really good. I'm not really sure how this escaped Mr. Yo's vision. It would have been better for Mr. Yo to try and send some of the fishers forward to try and collect some of the fish over here if he was not going to go for a fire galley or a galley, just to keep an eye on the shoreline and make sure that MbL didn't go for it, right? If he knew about this, he would have been able to react in time, but now it's kind of awkward and these fishing ships are just going to sit idle. Nice push though, still on the left hand side. Mr. Yo pushes MbL away from this. Oh, and take a look at this. Will Mr. Yo realize? Oh, he's just going so close to the wood line, but not close enough to realize about the villagers. He's gonna get a second dock up over here to try and keep water control. And so far, he hasn't really killed a single Navy unit, so that is not good for Mr. Yo. But if he had realized about the villagers over here, he would have been able to get one down pretty easily, potentially even more so than one. Were you around in ECL times, Nova? Yeah. I was just making the transition to casting. Before I used to do gameplay only. And by the end of 2019, then I decided to just go full casting. Actually, that is not true. By the end of 2018, I decided to go full casting. And it was during 2019 that ECL took place. I remember because it was very unfortunate the timing of the guys, right? They had to shut down just before DE came out. Just before Age of Empires 2 kind of blew in popularity again. Feels bad. To be honest though, I'm not really sure they would have been able to pull it off even after DE. But yeah, I remember. I started streaming in 2019. I had just gotten affiliate at ECL when I was there. Ah, nice. Again, one tile off. Let's take a look. Yeah, this time around he does have fletching though. I don't know, for some reason he's targeting the gold over there. He should be able to target the villagers. And this one, of course, now 100% covers the stone, so that's good. On water, MbL is looking better over here. Meanwhile, Mr. Yo has already been taking advantage of the fishing for so long that he's gotten enough resources to almost click up to the castle age already. So this is the thing about water. This is what you want to go for. It's going to be pricey at the very beginning. It's going to take some time to pay off, but once it does, this is what you find yourself in, right? Mr. Yo is going to be on the way to the castle age, and MbL, playing with Chinese no less, is going to struggle. And Mr. Yo managed to get more fire galleys out compared to MbL. Should be able to get a better trade over here. It's got to be careful. He will. Well done. Good unit control for Mr. Yo. Well played. Well played. He takes the scout down. He takes the fire galleys down on the right hand side. He keeps on putting pressure with the skirmishers behind the wood line. That's going to be like a mobile tower for him. Not going to be quite as long range, but it's still going to be just as annoying. Then on the left hand side, yeah, this tower is still targeting the mining camp. He needs to stop doing this and actually target the villagers. Regardless though, Castle Age is on the way now for MbL as well. So both these guys are on their way up. With Mr. Yo being up significantly earlier, he's got right now a 38-second lead, if I'm not mistaken, against MbL. If we take a look at gather economy time, it's looking better for Mr. Yo still by about 20 minutes or so. Should amount to about 400 extra resources, but you gotta keep in mind that Mr. Yo also had a lot of villagers moving around when trying to find a good location for the towers. So I'm actually not really sure if... I think that does not account for gather economy time. I think this is just for when villagers are actually actively collecting resources, right? So this is not worker efficiency. Worker efficiency is always going to be higher than gather economy time because worker efficiency also takes into account build time and repair time. So yeah, you can see that actually MbL had more moving economy time compared to Mr. Yo. So we have higher gather economy time for Mr. Yo. MbL spend more time moving villagers around, and that should put Mr. Yo in a much better position. Yeah, he's got into the castle age, and what is the plan over here? He's got almost enough resources to go for a castle. And where would he go if he was to go for one? He's getting full water control once again. He doesn't need to get the castle close to the shoreline anymore. But he could try to go for a castle. I would say probably near the gold over here would be good. There is one goal over here on the back, but if MbL runs out of this one, does not get access to this one, that is huge. Especially because this is technically the main one, right? So if Mr. Yo was able to bring some villagers over and get the castle up, let's say around here, right? He'll be able to deny this. Alternatively, he could go for the castle over here instead, and that would secure this stone for him. You can barely see it, but it's there, and push some villages away from the farms perhaps, but it's not quite as good, right? The castle on the left-hand side. Or just get guard tower, Valkyrie arrow, and the tower's already going to deny this. Then the castle on the right-hand side makes more sense. Will be good. Then he can use this as a stepping stone around which to go for extra units. He doesn't have going for the defensive castle though. Mr. Yo doesn't really have a knife for fun over here. Regardless. So Yo. It's going to end up losing the fire galleys over there. He's not paying attention. What's going on? Demos, perhaps? It's gotta be careful. Villagers got spotted though on the wood line by one knight from Mr. Yo. Pushes MbL's villages away. Oh, Mysterio's got the second and third DCs on the way. Just wants to play for economy here. Interesting. And interestingly enough, after the fishing ships went down for the most part, Mysterio is actually falling behind in work account, so I guess this makes sense. And MbL, well, MbL is going for full camel over here. That's not going to be enough for him to get any damage done around the TCs. Not even with chain bar and armor. The camels are not the unit you want to use to go around the raid with. So Mysterio's reaction over here is swift. He garrisons the villagers, tries to get the conversion, cannot get it. Monk goes down over there. And there we go. The tower is finally going down over here for Mr. Yo. To be fair, he never really fully utilized this one, so I don't think it hurts too much for him to lose it. Yeah, and this tower is going to go down eventually as well, and MbL is going to have it. From this point onwards, Mr. Yo gets ahead in economy significantly. Right now, he is behind still by about 4 workers, but it's only a matter of time, so long as he can keep all 3 TCs working, for him to not only catch up, but get significantly ahead in work account compared to MbL. Meanwhile, the red player is going for the second TC right now. It's gonna take a while before he can get the third TC. He doesn't have the stone unless he buys it. But he doesn't really have the economy to buy it, so it seems like Mr. Yo should still stay ahead in economy, and very soon he's gonna have enough resources to go for another castle. And this one, I would definitely like to see forward. He could potentially go for another TC as well. I'm not really sure if he wants to protect any extra resources. He's already protecting the gold here, the wood line. The gold over here is behind the walls already. And the gold over here and the stone, they're already behind the walls, very close to the TC. If he wants to go for a 4 TC, I'm actually not really sure where he would want to go for it. Probably around here, right? Right next to the stone, perhaps? Yeah, probably around there. Mr. Yo cannot go for a 4 castle without military units, so he's trying to get some light chai. Holy crap though, hold on. That is a lot of lag. Is OBS lagging again? Yep, OBS decided I'm going to take 90% of the GPU, so we're just gonna have to wait for it to be fair with the rest of the processes. Sorry about that. Okay, there we go. We're catching up. So the castle's coming up on the left-hand side for Mr. Yo, just playing full defense. Here we go. Beautiful. Damn, Mr. Yo's economy is looking so strong right now. Might actually be able to go up to the Imperial Age sometime soon. There we go, the conversion's coming up. Connects, the monk goes down. Yes, but the light check get cleaned up. And yeah, no forward aggression over here from Mr. Yo. No forward castles, not much of anything. With both these castles, should be able to get a good amount of light chai by the time he eventually decides to push. I don't think he should be trickling the units like this. Even if it's not technically trickling and he's actually massing a good amount of light chat before going forward, given the amount of defenses that we have for MbL, the amount of camels he's got, 21 camels plus the monks, it doesn't feel like Mr. Yo will be able to make the small group of light chat work at all. I do like it though that he's managed to collect 3 relics, so that's already going to give him 3 extra attack, while he could potentially go for a 4th relic and get +4. He's sending the monk, he's going for the 4th relic, guys! Mr. Yo is looking strong. Here we are. We have a demolition raft over there coming up from Mr. Yo. He cannot really detonate this one though. Yeah, and the monk is going to get denied. The relic's going to get denied for the time being. Light Chariot coming out on top still. Not too many camels over there. But that's going to delay the +4 for Mr. Yo. Good defense over here back home as well. He's able to clean out the majority of the camels too. So MbL, he was on 21 camels just a few minutes ago. Now he's gone down to 8. And Mr. Yo's got 13, 14 light chests. So if he can keep on going like this, he's getting actually a substantial lead for military. If he can keep on going like this, MbL, well, if he's unable to defend with the camels over here, it's going to be relying on monks, right? And if he cannot get some good conversions, it's going to put him in a very awkward spot. Yeah, we had demos over there from Mr. Yo as well, yes. Good defense, this is what I was talking about. Much better for MbL compared to the 2 previous engagements. And yeah, the relic's still up over there. And I think, yeah, Mr. Yo is gonna keep on trying to go for it, right? He's gotta. Where's the 5th relic? Do we have 5 relics over here? We have, yeah. Dude, go and take this relic. He's going the way of the greed. And once he gets this one, I guess it's going to be out to 5. But that's interesting that he's delaying the +4 just for going for the 4 one, because he's got vision on the back one. Mr. Barracks coming up, and MbL's going up to the Imperial H. We'll make a play for Halberdier. And Mr. Yo not quite going up to the Imperial H yet, and interestingly enough, he's actually falling behind the work account compared to MbL, despite the fact that he was the first one to go for the extra TCs. MbL's done a good job though, with 4 TCs and the 5th one on the way. He's been able to prevent Mr. Yo from getting a substantial lead over here now. Here comes Mr. Yo's army, the Light Chai. Still 3 relics only, but I imagine that monk is bringing the relic back very, very quickly. Yes. So that's going to be +4 in just one moment. And these guys are looking so strong. The villages are going down right away. And now this Light Chai +4 attack. MbL, good luck defending against this man. He cannot garrison everything inside both these TC, so he ends up taking a lot of losses. Now the TC, this is probably going down very soon. That's gotta be a misclick from MbL. He out-garrisons the TC when it's surrounded by Light Chai. And where are the defensive units? Where are the camels? He doesn't even have pikemen. He's got 3 camels, 11 spearmen, but no pikeman upgrade. He cannot engage with pikemen. He cannot engage with spearmen, sorry. And the pikeman upgrade is taking so long to hit over here. And he's engaging with the spearmen, and these are going down before the upgrade comes. MbL is out of defenses, and Mr. Yo has gotten so many kills over here. He's reclaimed the villager lead. He's got enough resources to go up to the Imperial H himself, and the 4 castles on the way on the left-hand side for the bull player. MbL cannot be too happy about the way the things have gone in the last minute or so. He gets to the Imperial H, yes, but what does he have to work with? Halberdier's on the way. He's got 7 pikemen. Many of these are going down. Actually, the Light Chariot just completely clapping the units. So he's going to be in the Imperial Age very soon as well. He'll be able to go for the Light Chariot as well with the 3rd castle. His production potential goes up by 50%. Yeah, and honestly, right now, MbL is already crumbling. He's completely falling apart at the seams. Well, Mr. Yo got a hit by brute force over here, just taking the units down from MbL, not going for any extra units himself necessarily, not too much anyway. Not any more than he's been going for in the past. Input to Zero Army. It's been the story of my life, man. We have seen this happen so many times. Very unfortunate. Without even the pikeman upgrade. And he saw the light chai earlier. He did not respect the possibility of another raid. Mr. Yo, sure, he ended up losing the earlier light chai to the camels, but then MbL ran out of camels. Started going for spearman, did not go for the pikeman until it was too late. Got cleaned up for the most part, and now it doesn't seem like there's a way back, right? There's so much exposed economy over here. MbL is about to lose probably about 10 villagers or so. Mr. Yo does end up collecting the 5th relic, yes, so that's going to make this game even more one-sided. So guys, as MbL is dropping under 75 population total, not villager count, but population total. I am expecting to see the GG being called over here very soon, and MbL is gonna have to try again in the replacement qualifier because Mr. Yo is in the Imperial Age and there is no way back for MbL into this game. So in the end, 3-0, favoring the Chinese player. Mr. Yo moves on as the second player qualifying for the Grand Melee. And if all goes well, he's gonna be able to attend the event actually. And MbL is gonna have to try again, of course, in the qualifier. The replacement qualifier. So let's go and take a look at the achievements before hopping back out. We are still 20 minutes past the poised starting time for the third set. So we are about 20 minutes behind schedule, but it's not too much. It's not too bad, so it's okay. For military, we see a stronger economy for, a stronger KD for Mr. Yo, approaching 39 to 20 over here, very close to that. For economy, we see a stronger economy for Mr. Yo as well. Very well played. And for society, we have actually a very similar villager max count over here. Exactly the same for both these players. Of course, with the difference that MbL is going to be the one to take the most villager losses in this game. And it's not even close. Towards the end of the game, and you can clearly see it, right? Imperial Age over here into no military production for MbL, and Mr. Yo absolutely takes advantage of it. Might have realized about MbL going out to the Imperial Age because of the score drop and might have sent the light chef forward because of it, and MbL did not have any defenses in place. So well done, well played.